Why is there so much emphasis on kids having to be intelligent in the intellectual way and having to get good grades and get into a good school, but not nearly enough emphasis on the emotional intelligence part? So here are 3 more things that you can start doing today in order to cultivate that in your kids. This is part 2. So if you missed part 1, the link is going to be somewhere on the screen. And let's dive in. So this is the continuation of part 1. Number 5, do not dismiss their small worries. When your child loses a toy, so instead of dismissing that worry of his that, oh my God, I lost my toy, where is it? And they start crying, you know how exaggerated they can be. But that's just kids being kids, right? Instead of dismissing that, what you can do instead, your kid lost his toy. He's upset. He can't find it. He ran out of cookies and he's upset that he didn't get to eat one more cookie. Take their concerns seriously. I know it might sound silly for us adults, like, oh my God, my kid is crying over a stupid toy that he lost. But for him or for her, it's important. Picture this scenario. How many times have you freaked out when you couldn't find your phone? Or you couldn't find a charger and your phone was running out of juice? How many times have we, including me, freaked out about losing, I don't know, the other pair of your favorite earring? So it's the same thing. Of course, that toy, it doesn't mean the same thing for us than it means for your kid. So it's something special for your kid. So that's why it matters so much the way we react to every time they lose something or they're upset about losing something. I know how easy it is to get annoyed when you see your kid losing stuff constantly. And I know I'm always like trying to help them find it. But at some point, you just like, okay, you know what? You should take better care of your stuff. You should put it away where it belongs. I keep trying to teach them that lesson over and over again. And believe me, they'll get it at some point. But as of right now, they're still kids. They're still learning. So all we can do is be their leader and guide and instructor in order for them to realize, okay, if I don't put it in the right place, I'm going to lose it. So whenever your child loses something and pulls you out of whatever you were doing and interrupts you mid conversation, or when you're on your phone, you're trying to get chores done, pause and breathe. Remember, this is important for your kid. Losing his favorite stuffed animal is the equivalent of you losing your phone or your charger or your earbuds. So the act of validating their feelings and frustration at that time is crucial. It shows them that their emotions matter. And that's how you build resilience. That's how you nurture their emotional intelligence. It builds self-worth, self-confidence, and ultimately makes them feel emotionally safe. Number 6, don't always be ready to offer them solutions to their problems. You know, the best way to teach decision making is to encourage our kids to think for themselves and be able to make their own decisions eventually. Instead of always fixing problems, you could ask, what do you think we should do? Think about where you saw it last. This right there will boost their independence and critical thinking. Number 7, let boredom be their best friend, or let boredom be their creative friend. I know as parents, we're constantly trying to keep our kids entertained. It's almost like we're scared of them getting bored at some point. We basically fear tantrums that normally come out of boredom, right? But what we want is to teach our kids to feel comfortable with stillness. That's the space of creativity. That's when creativity sparks up. A good example is my boy. I have twin, almost 4-year-old boy girl. And my boy, he doesn't even need a race car, to play competition, as he normally puts it. He was actually frustrated about losing his race car the other day, but then he got over it because he found another way. I told him, I don't know where it is. I couldn't find it. And then let's move on. We're going to find it eventually. But in the meantime, while he couldn't find his race car, he made up a new game. He picked up like these little there's like a round piece of Lego that rolls. If you like go put it on the floor, it rolls. And this lid of a snack cup that he has. And then he just made up a competition game with that. That's when exactly what I'm talking about. Creativity is born out of boredom. He was bored because he didn't know like what to do. He wanted to play competition and he found another way to do it. And then he wants like me to get one and then he gets another one. We slide it down the slide, that indoor slide that I showed in one of my videos. It's just, it's a whole lot of fun. Another example, at a restaurant, my twins love playing with straws, napkins. Like he picks up a napkin, he throws it up in the air and it goes like this. He's like, oh, it's a avião in Portuguese. He says, oh, it's an airplane. They don't need tablets. That's another thing, another topic for another day, which I'd like to talk about. The excessive use of tablets and screens that I see a lot of parents doing nowadays. I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not taking myself out of that equation, out of that statistic, because they do watch some days a little bit more TV than others, which sometimes, I'm a bit concerned about. But in general, screens is not something that I like to expose themselves to too much, but that will be a topic for another video. And that's just an example. Restaurants, any place that you fear that your kid is going to feel bored, don't fear boredom. Actually embrace it, because that's when your kid is going to come up with a brilliant idea that you probably haven't thought of, because they're fresh. Their minds are fresh. So they are free thinkers. They're not such conditional thinkers like we are. As we become adults, we end up developing a lot of limitations to our way of thinking. And this is why kids' minds are just so beautiful, because it's like the world is their oyster. They can think, they can create, they can imagine, they can dream. And we should allow that part of them to flare up, to spark up and bring joy to their lives and to ours too. So nurturing emotional intelligence in a nutshell. Model the behaviors you'd like to see. Express your feelings and opinions openly but respectfully, and do apologize when you make mistakes. Apologize and mean it. And I cannot stress this enough. Validate your child's feelings and experience, no matter how small they seem to you. I know as parents, we want to rush our kids into the calming state and we try to fix their feelings for them. We try to have them, in a way, suppress their own feelings, if you think about it. Because if we're trying to shut it down, it's almost like we're telling them, suppress your feelings. But we must give them the necessary space to process those emotions without trying to be constantly controlling. Encourage problem solving. Ask open-ended questions instead of being so quick to give them all the answers. Let them have those moments of boredom and stillness, so creativity and proactivity can flourish. By implementing those strategies, you will be helping your kid develop resilience and become more emotionally aware, nurturing that emotional intelligence side that they need so much. I hope this helps. I'll see you next.